All right, let's talk about ponying a horse. Sometimes you're going to want to go out on trail or work with your horse without riding it. You know, you can work with your horse from another horse. So I'm on this horse and I'm ponying this horse. This is what ponying looks like. It's kind of like how a baby stands next to the mother, ponying, right? Sandy here is not a pony, but she can be ponied. So how do you pony a horse? Well, here's the problem with ponying is it deals with a lot of ropes. When you're dealing with all these ropes, try not to wrap them around your hand or put your finger through it or wrap it around your head or around your arm or anything, because then you'll lose whatever is wrapped in there, like a finger or a hand or an arm or a head. So hold the rope in a way that if something were to happen, it can just come out of your hand and she can run away and you can keep your fingers. I like to hold it like this, keep it real short so I've got room to move. And then, once I have my rope figured out, one last thing about ropes, don't tie it to your horn unless you know what you're doing. That's called dallying. If you dally incorrectly, you can get a finger in there and lose it. So don't tie it to your horn unless you know what you're doing. So when I'm going to pony, it's important that I keep the horse on my right side here, next to me, right, where I can talk to it. Anywhere past the butt, behind the butt, and I'm just dragging her down the trail. I don't want to drag the horse, I want her to stay with me and listen to me. She can listen to me, she can watch the horse, she can kind of learn from what's happening here. So I'll keep a short rope so I can keep her head right here and I can kind of control where she's going. The other thing about keeping a short rope is if something does happen, she stops, you keep going over here. As she goes, this can kind of, you can let it out of your hand by just loosening up. That way you don't lose her, right? That's why I like a little longer lead rope, because I've got more to lose along the way. Another important thing about ponying is having a horse up front that will listen to one-handed reining, right, to neck reining. If I've got a horse that I have to use two hands on, this is going to be very difficult to deal with, right? So having a horse that listens really well to just, neck reining is kind of key here. All right, so ponying a horse. When I want to walk, right, if I'm talking to this horse, I squeeze with my legs, I use my voice, right, and that'll make my horse walk. I also want to make sure I talk to this horse, right? See this ear's pointed towards me? We want that ear towards me. So as I use my voice, I can ask her to walk and him at the same time. Now you see I'm keeping her right at my knee. Even as I turn the corner, I'm keeping her right at my knee, where I can talk to her and tell her to walk and stop and turn. If you've got a horse that won't follow, that is kind of just won't listen, dragging behind, if you turn in and push her around, that can help, right? I can push the horse with my other horse and get her moving forward. In general, if you're having problems moving a horse forward, start with a sideways movement. So if my horse won't move forward, I can turn him off to the side and that'll get them leaning and moving. And then I can worry about where it's going. But it's the same while you're ponying a horse. If I'm having problems moving the horse, I turn in, try to get her to move off, and try to get those legs moving, one foot in front of the other first. Be careful with this stuff, with this rope and stuff. You can see as I came across, I let her head go. And then her head ended up on the other side of me, back here, right? And now I've got this wacky rope behind me. And if I keep walking any further, I'm going to have a horse way out at the end of the rope. And I'm going to be trying to control her from back here, right? So just make sure, whatever you do, you try to keep that horse right at your knee, all right? And that, no matter what speed you're at, whether you're at a walk, trot, canter, you want to try to keep them right here at your knee. Let's try it out. let's talk about reasons why you pony a horse. There are a couple of reasons why you'd want to pony a horse. One would be to have this horse learn from this horse how to be a horse with a person, right? So this horse watches this horse do something, they'll try to copy that, right? Another reason is, just to get them exercise, and you've got, a lot of horses to deal with, and you want to get more than one exercise at a time. But thinking about that, remember that this horse is here to help you out. And when they do things like they might kind of bite at this horse when he comes forward to say, hey, get back. They might kind of throw a little kick, and all of that's okay. It's kind of part of it. If this horse gets really upset and bites and kicks and really aggressive, then maybe not so okay, but little bites, little kicks, little warnings to this horse to stay back and stay in this position are actually a good thing. So if you see your horse kind of bite, you see your horse kind of kick to try to get that horse back into this position, praise him for that. Let him know that was a good move. You guys are partners. Okay, so when you're ponying, you'll end up a lot of times with a horse behind you, right? And you have a couple of options here. One is to just pull harder and drag that horse back up. That can be very difficult sometimes, especially if a horse doesn't really want to follow. So there's a little trick, right? So if I'm out here in front, right, and I want this horse to be further up on my side, if all I do is turn this horse to the right, then all of a sudden this nose is further up on my right side, right? See what I did? Fancy thing. So I'm having trouble, the horse isn't following, and I turn to the right, boom, I've got the horse right in the right place. I didn't have to pull and drag him. I just put him back in the right place myself.